I'm just making myself comfortable in my chair. So it's really important that we want to be comfortable. We want to be reasonably alert in our posture. And we want to be kind of solid and stable on the ground. So think about those three principles when you're picking your posture. For example, you know, the back of my chair is quite hard, so that helps support my back. So that's the stability, and that also helps with alertness, which is really important. I'm quite comfortable though. I've got a cushion underneath me, so that's quite comfortable. And I'm making sure that my feet are flat to the ground, which again helps me with that stability. So yeah, think about your posture. Think and ensure that it's kind of it's alert, and you feel alert in your posture. You also feel comfortable, and you also feel pretty solid and stable on the ground. Those are the three principles that we're looking for. So I can't see how people are sat, of course. So I'm just trusting that you've picked a posture that's going to help support you. So yeah, I mean, it's really important because I guess, all Indian philosophy, body and mind are not separate. So if we have a comfortable, alert and stable posture, the likelihood is our mind is going to feel, our mind is going to be supported. So we're going to be able to meditate effectively. So welcome to those people that have just joined us. We're just talking about meditation posture, and I'm going to just say a few words about the practice now, and then we'll meditate for about 20-25 minutes, something like that. So yeah, we're going to do this meditation called the Metta Bhavana. So metta is kind of an ancient Pali word, an ancient word from an ancient Indian language, and it means something like friendliness. It's related to a Sanskrit word, maitri, which literally means friend. So metta means something like friendliness or kindness. Sometimes people describe it as loving kindness. And bhavana is to cultivate, to bring into being. So if you put those two things together, metta, bhavana, you get the cultivation of kindness, cultivation of friendliness, cultivation of loving kindness. So that's what we're going to be doing in this meditation. And we're trying to develop that emotion, that metta, ultimately for all beings without reservation, including ourselves, importantly. So we're trying to develop a sense of care and concern and kindness to ourselves and to all beings, whoever they are, whatever our relationship with them is. We have people in our lives that we know well, and we have friendly feelings towards them. There's others that we don't know, we feel sort of indifferent towards. And there's people, if we're honest, that we kind of actively, we don't like them very much. There's usually at least one person in your life that you're having issues with. So we're trying to go beyond all that. And and I'll say a bit more about how we do that in a moment. So we're trying to develop this sense of well-wishing kindness to all beings. We're wishing both ourselves and all beings to be happy, if you like. That's sometimes the way it's described. But it's happiness in the broadest sense. So when I say happy, I mean it's a deep happiness. We're wishing that people have meaning in their lives, that they have people that care for them, that other people care for us. So I mean happiness in the broadest way. So if we're wishing somebody happiness, I mean that in the broadest way you can imagine, the deepest way you can imagine. So maybe that's enough about the kind of theory, really. Could obviously say a lot more, but maybe that's enough to give you an idea about what we're doing. But I think, the way I'd like to lead the practice today is I'd like to lead the practice in a way that's quite receptive. And what I mean by that is we can have an idea that, the practice is called Metta Bhavana, isn't it? So the cultivation of kindness. And we can have an impression that we don't have kindness, we're not able to feel that for ourselves and other people, and we need to somehow make that happen. We sort of force it. We're not kind. We need to become kind during this meditation. And that can lead to a sort of forcefulness. Basically, I've taught lots of meditation classes. I've been meditating for a while, doing my best to varying degrees of success. And the thing that I see most commonly is people basically try miles too hard when they meditate. And this is a risk with the metta bhavana as well, because you'll sit there really trying to make something happen, and it won't happen if you do that. So a better way of thinking about it is just trust that you have kindness. You just trust that it's there, and then you just share that with other people. So don't think of this, there's this thing called metta, which you don't have and you need to create. Just trust that it's there, because you do have kindness. All people have it. You share it with, I suspect, your loved ones. Sometimes you might even give a bit to yourself, although probably not as much as you should. So we just have an attitude in the practice that there is metta, we have it, and just trust that it's there, and then we'll just share it with other people. So yeah, the attitude is more receptive rather than active. We're not going to try and make anything happen. We're just going to be receptive to this kindness that we already have. So let's think about it like that. And yeah, I mean, this will be the final thing I'll say really, which is that one way that's been really helpful for me in this meditation is to connect with a sense of human solidarity. And what I mean by that is we just connect with the fact that ourselves and all of the people, all of the beings, if you like, we really want to be happy. We really, really don't want to suffer. And it's hard. If you're a human being, you know that it's really hard to find happiness and to keep happiness. And that is the same for every other person. So there's loads of differences between people. I'm not saying everyone's the same, but on that level, we're exactly the same. And if I can connect with that, the sense of, oh yeah, other people are just like me. They're just trying to be happy. They're just really trying not to suffer. They're doing the best. It's much easier for me to feel well-wishing. So anyway, it's something else to just drop in for you. So we won't do all 5. So this practice usually has 5 stages, but we won't do all 5. We'll just do 4, and we'll leave the difficult person off the map for now. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. So stage 1, we're going to cultivate. I won't use the word cultivate. We'll connect with metta for ourselves. So we'll be sending metta to ourselves in stage 1. Stage 2, we're going to bring to mind a good friend. So someone you know well who, yeah, you want them to be happy. If they're upset, you want to do something about that. Someone you've got a very straightforward relationship with. So we bring someone to mind that's a good friend, and we'll share our metta with the good friend. And then we'll do that for a bit, and then we'll come into the 3rd stage, and we'll bring to mind someone we don't know very well. So I don't know about you guys, but I've really been getting to know people on my street in this period, so it's like when people have been out clapping for the NHS on a Thursday, was it? You've just been getting to know my neighbours a lot more. So people like that are put in the practice. I might even not know their name. I just know they live at 23, and you bring someone like that to mind. Or it could be the person that you see in Tesco when you're doing your weekly shop. Someone like that. You don't know them very well. You don't have any strong feelings about them. We call them the neutral person. So that's who we bring to mind in the 3rd stage. And then what we'll do is we won't bring in a difficult person today. What we'll do is we'll just wish all those other three people well equally. So ourselves, the good friend, the neutral person, and then we'll just spread out to as many people as possible. That's what we'll do. And I'll do the practice in a way that, I'm going to do it in a way that's more, I'm going to use an image of light, and we'll see if that works for you. So let's get ready to meditate. And We'll do a bit of general awareness first, and we'll meditate for about 30 minutes, something like that. So just taking up your meditation posture and making any small adjustments you might need to be comfortable. This is really the beginning of the practice, is we put our body in a shape that is comfortable. We don't want to be sat in a posture where it's putting lots of stress on the body. So just taking up your posture and perhaps closing your eyes. Maybe taking a few deep breaths. And as you breathe out, just totally let go. You can just give up the weight of your body to the chair or the bed, wherever you sat. Just give up the weight of the body completely. And when we meditate, it's really important that we're embodied. And what I mean by that is we're trying to allow our awareness to sink down into the body. So see if you can do that. Just notice the points of contact of the body. Maybe you notice your bum on the chair or on the bed or the cushion. Maybe you notice your feet on the floor. So just allowing the awareness to sink down into the body. You can often feel like we kind of live in our heads, but actually that isn't true. So this is a really good thing to do, is just taking your awareness into the body. If your awareness is in your body, it's not going to be in thought. It's not going to be just constantly ruminating about things. And to help our awareness kind of descend down, I'm just going to briefly go through the body now. And let's use an image of warm light. So if you like, you could imagine that an opening has appeared in the top of your head and in the crown of the head. And in that, we're just going to pour a bucket of warm light. And that's going to flow down into the forehead. Just noticing the sensations in the forehead as it fills with warm light. And then it's going to continue down into the eye sockets, eyeballs, just filling with warm light. And then down into the cheeks and the lips and the whole face. Just feeling the face from the inside as it fills with this warm light. And the whole head, so you could just notice your whole head now. And this warm light is just going to flow down the body, down into the neck and the shoulders. So just noticing the shoulders, they fill with this warm light. It's kind of a liquid light, filling the shoulders. And then it's going to continue its descent down into the arms and the elbows. And the lower arms and the wrists. And into the hands, each finger just filling with warm light. Maybe you notice your hands pressing against each other or your hands in your lap. And then this warm light is going to start filling our torso and the chest, flowing down into the belly. Maybe you notice some emotions as you become aware of your chest and belly. That's all right. Just being aware of them. We're doing a practice that involves the emotions, so it's good to know how we feel. And this warm light's going to fill the back, the top, middle, and bottom of the back. And don't worry if there's parts of your body where you don't feel very much. Maybe you could just linger there for a moment. See if you can notice anything. And then the warm light is going to continue down into the buttocks and the sitting bones. And then the pelvic region. Again, just fill in with warm light. And then it's going to go down into the legs, the big thigh muscles, and the knees. And it's just going to flow down into the lower legs and the ankles and the feet. Just fill in with warm light. And just notice your whole body now. Just notice how your whole body feels. Maybe it feels a bit more alive. Maybe not. This is mindfulness of the body. This is what we're doing now. And you can also be aware of the space around you, so you could notice sounds. Sound of my voice, maybe sound people in your home or outside. There's light coming through your closed eyelids. Maybe you can even taste or smell something. So we can have an awareness of the body, but we can also have an awareness of the space around us. So our awareness is spacious. So just trying to stay connected with this spacious awareness. And within this spacious awareness, there is kindness. So we'll move into the first stage of the Metta Bhavana. And I'm just going to suggest that within this spacious awareness, you connect with the feeling in your heart center. So don't worry if you don't feel anything. Just trust that emanating from your heart is this warm light that's filling your body. And it feels a bit like sunshine. Everyone knows how nice it is when the sun emerged from the clouds a few months back. It's gone now. And it just falls down on your face. It's so nice. So that is how it feels. This warm light of kindness emanating from your heart through your body. And just open to that. Just trust that it's there. And be quite receptive to anywhere in the body where there's maybe any pleasure. So maybe a warm feeling or a sense of openness. Maybe a nice tingling. Just be open to that. And when you get distracted, which you will, you just come back to the body. So you come back to this embodied feeling and then connect again with the sense of space and just trust that it's filled with warm light, the warm light of kindness. Okay. So we'll move into stage 2 of the practice. And I'm going to suggest that the way we do that is we just bring to mind a good friend. Or you could imagine your friend is sat here with you in this spacious, loving, aware space. You could have an image of your friend, or sometimes I just imagine my friend is sat with me. Maybe I've got my hand on their shoulder. Maybe you could connect with the fact that your friend, well, they really want to be happy. They really deeply want that. And they really deeply don't want to suffer. And in that sense, they're exactly like you are. So you could just really try and share this warm light of kindness with them for the next 5 minutes as a way of wishing them well in their life. So coming back to the body and then coming back to your friend whenever you get distracted, but doing so in a kind way. So we don't leave ourselves behind when we move on from wishing ourselves well. If you have to come back, if you get distracted, well, that's normal. Just come back in a kind but persistent way. This warm light is falling down on your friend like sunshine. And really allowing a sense of appreciation of your friend, if it's there. We're very lucky to have our good friend. And be again just staying sensitive to any sense of warmth or pleasure, openness that's in your experience. Pay attention to that. It's really important that we find pleasure in our meditation. It might be quite subtle. You might just be enjoying the fact that you're breathing. This might be something really simple, but really pay attention if there's any sense of pleasure or openness or warmth. That is metta. Just trust that that's metta, that's kindness, and enjoy it. And we'll bring to mind now, well, we'll say goodbye to our friend for now. We'll see them again shortly. But we'll bring to mind the neutral person, so someone we don't know very well. And don't think too hard about it. Just whoever comes to mind, just go with them. So you may not know much about this person. Maybe you just know they live across the street or they work in the local supermarket. But you do know that they're a human being. As a human being, they probably really deeply want to be happy. And they really deeply don't want to suffer. And in that way, they're exactly like you, exactly like your good friend. And on that basis, just allowing this warm light that is radiating from your heart to be shared with this neutral person. You're just getting behind this person for the next 3 or 4 minutes as they try and live a human life, which isn't easy. And because we don't know this person, it can be harder to stay with them. So continue to practice kindness to yourself if you get distracted. We're also learning to be mindful by just keep coming back to the person. And don't worry if you don't feel anything. Just trust that this warm light of kindness is being shared with this neutral person. Okay, so just keeping the neutral person in mind, and then just inviting back your friend and yourself. Just seeing if you can hold all three people in this warm light of kindness. Perhaps imagine you're sat with these two other people, if that works for you. And then gradually we'll just include more and more people. So you could imagine that this warm light that's radiating from your heart is just expanding outwards into the world. You could even do it in the different directions. So you could imagine it's radiating out in front of you and behind you and to the left and to the right, and above and below. So just allowing a sense of boundlessness. This warm light is now boundless, radiating in all directions, into your street, to your locality, wherever you are, into the city. And it's probably encountering all types of people. There's probably people who are having a really difficult time right now. And there's others who maybe they've quite enjoyed the lockdown and they're actually in quite a good state. So you could include them. There'll be people whose lives are really coming together right now, and others whose lives are maybe falling apart. That's what it feels like for them. Just bringing all those people in to this warm field of metta, of light. Just out in every direction. Beyond the UK, into the world. It could include animals, if you like, all beings. So I'm going to bring the practice to a close in a moment. I'm going to suggest that for the last minute, you just relax, making any effort. And just sit. Just sit in this field, this sphere of warm light. Not trying to do anything, just being receptive. And gradually just bringing the practice to a close, but doing so in a slow way, a sensitive way. Gradually opening the eyes, making any movements that you might need to make. Okay, so I'll be ending the YouTube live stream in a moment, and if you want to ask any questions, you may. But before I do that, really lovely to practice with you all, and feel free to keep coming to these classes. They're free, and you're very welcome to keep coming. And yeah, we are hoping to reopen the Buddhist Centre at some point, and what would really help us is if you are able to give a donation, it would really help us in reopening the centre and ensuring the ongoing welfare of our centre really and our community. So you can do that on the website. If you just look at the top of the page and click donate, that's really helpful. And yeah, if you want to take this any further, we've got a Buddhism course actually starting next week, where we'll be meditating together and going through the core principles of Buddhism. It's called Finding Freedom in Difficult Times, and I think there's still places left. 6 weeks starting on Tuesday night. So yeah, I'll be teaching some of the weeks. I'm not teaching all of it, sadly, but yeah, it's a great course, and yeah, really nice to meet like-minded people too. So yeah, have a think about that.